It's finally over. The SEC tournament run for the Tigers comes to a close by the score of 4-7, falling to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Unfortunately, we have to talk about it, but let's talk about some of the good things that happened during this final game in the SEC tournament, too. All that coming up right here on our post-game show right now. War Eagle Auburn family and War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you being here and hanging out with us and being part of our little family within the Auburn family as we talk about something within the Auburn experience. Today, we're breaking down the last game in the SEC tournament for the Auburn Tigers. Now, eliminated after double elimination play, this time at the hands of our arch rivals, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I want all the people, whether you're on YouTube or otherwise, to go ahead and prepare yourself for the flood of Alabama fans that are going to come in and start dropping RTRs and things like that and then running off. Happens in the comments post show. So just go ahead and mentally prepare for yourself for that. But we're going to talk about the things that happened. I would say that there's, again, similar to last night, not a lot of super exciting things outside of one big moment that we're definitely going to hit on there at the very top of the show. And we do want to at least celebrate that. But as we get started, would love you to do something for us, whether you're watching live, replay, Facebook, here, home base of YouTube, or you're watching out there anywhere else you got here. We'd love for you to start off in the chat option that you have below. Post where you're watching from. Check in with us. Let us know who's here. Post your city, your state with a War Eagle, and let us know who's hanging out. If there's some Tide fans out there too, of course, you can do whatever it is you need to do to feel good about yourselves in the comment section too. We'll get into all that, and I want to hear some of your comments and questions tonight. Let's start off with the big, exciting news. You have a brand new home run king in Bryson Ware. Congratulations to him. He is now with 24 home runs and with an opportunity to increase that, a single season home run record, breaking Hunter Morris, who unfortunately is a assistant coach on the Alabama Crimson Tides team that we just played. But it was cool to see him be there in an official status to watch his record being broken. I guess that's his penance for being on that team. But congratulations to Bryson Ware, and super excited for him and what he's been able to accomplish this season. Let me go ahead. I know that there's not a lot of interest about the SEC tournament left, but just so that you guys can at least have the information very quickly, you can see me. I brought it up here right now. Auburn's been eliminated. Alabama will now move into that slot in the bottom part of the bracket, and they will take on the winner of Vanderbilt and Florida and go from there. Or excuse me, the loser of Vanderbilt and Florida and go from there. So good luck to whoever faces Alabama is what I say. Auburn, this is not even in your concern anymore. So we just move on and we start focusing on the next thing at hand. A couple of people already checking in. Thanks so much for being here. We got Devin checking in. Yo, Boy Wilson checking in. Sig Life, or that's Rob, sorry, checking in. Auburn may have lost their chance to host a regional. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think most people would still put them as hosting a regional. One of the things that they talked about on the broadcast today was that they were coming in at about the 10th overall number one seed, and Alabama was the 11th. So by virtue of what happened today, you would think that probably would flip-flop things a little bit. I think that they'll probably host, but I don't know that they helped themselves a whole lot in this tournament. They did. I don't think they hurt themselves, but I don't know that they necessarily helped themselves in that respect. But we will definitely look with that in earnest today. All right, real quick, let's run through some stats. You guys talk about anything that stuck out to you from the game today, anything that you want to talk about. Connor Copeland got the start today and does take the loss, 4-2 on the year. Gave up 4 runs today on 8 hits. Trevor Bauman came in, gave up 3 hits himself in 1.2 innings on 4 hits. And then Will Cannon came in and finished things up for the last 3 innings and pretty much shut the Tide down. And in fact, only gave up 2 hits during his 3 innings right there. So when we look back at this SEC tournament as a whole, we're going to be talking about this was very contrary to what we've seen from the pitching staff over the last 4 to 5 weeks, where they've really kind of locked it in. Have they been the most outstanding pitching staff in those last 4 to 5 weeks? No, but they have stepped it up in a way. And so this was kind of, I want to call it a return to form, but it definitely was kind of a backtrack, so to speak, of allowing a lot of walks, letting guys get on base, a lot of stolen bases today that resulted in runs too. That's not necessarily on the pitching staff. We did start Carter Wright today at catcher, and unfortunately, it looked like they were trying to pick on him, so to speak. Whether or not that was a good strategy, you can make your own assumptions there. Neil says that Auburn played to 1 a.m. Not surprised they lost today. Yeah, it's definitely not the ideal turnaround, right? You're what? Barely 12, 13 hours removed from starting the game or when you ended it. Well, right, give or take, obviously, time zones and things like that. I'm trying to keep my time zone in that. So, yeah, we can make the excuses all you want, but really what this comes down to is Auburn allowing people to get on base and do things on base, like stealing the bases. And there just was, this team wasn't, I won't call it like sloppy the entire series, but there were a lot of little mistakes that kind of added up over time. Definitely not what their potential, they didn't live up to what their potential they've shown this year. But the great thing is, it's not over at this point. You have an opportunity to kind of shake this one off and move into maybe a host situation and maybe into some surprising further postseason runs as well. So there's that. In terms of offense in this game, obviously we already talked about Bryson Ware getting his home run and breaking the overall the single season, not the overall, the single season record with 24 will probably, I would bet, would add to that in the next few games that he has in the postseason. Everybody who got a hit, we'll just run through it real quick. Chris Stanfield, 1 for 4 on the day. Cole Foster, 1 for 4 with a beautiful hit away from the shift to score that final run in the 9th inning, where we kind of at least made it a little bit interesting. Auburn had their opportunities, 2 men on base with a guy at bat and, down by 3. All you had to do was one swing of the bat with 2 different guys and tie ball game. So the opportunities were definitely there. Ike Irish, 1 for 4 on the day. Bobby Pierce was 0 for 3. Justin Kirby came in and it was 0 for 2. Cole McMurray, 0 for 4. Kason Howell, 1 for 2. Brody Wortham, 2 for 4. Pretty good day for him. And then everybody else, Wright, LaRue, and Bello, none of them got a hit in their single at bats on the day. I feel like one of those is off right there, but that's your offensive outlook for the Tigers in this game. As a reminder, our plan is to continue doing these post-game shows in the postseason. If Auburn's hosting, that will be a little bit later than the game actually ending, most likely. So you'll have to give me some time to set my stuff up, because I will be there. If they are, I will be at least on campus and probably watching from the parking deck, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get tickets or get in, and we'll go from there. So, but we do plan on doing this next weekend if we are hosting. If we're not, we'll do it right after, because I'll be here at the home studio. Trying to think about what else today from this game stuck out. Didn't seem like we had too many controversial calls. Bobby Pierce nearly threw someone out at the plate again. It was a very close play. I think it was close enough to where, Ty goes to the runner type of situation, but it did look like a great throw. And unfortunately, one of those situations, the reverse of what we saw, where a guy was blocking the plate of Auburn, I think in the Missouri game, was it? And this one where we weren't blocking the plate and we pay the price for it. So there. Neil says that perfect weather for baseball, not that warm and low humidity. Yeah, it's much different from maybe about this time, but getting towards this time last year where the heat really kicked in. And it's probably about to be here, though. So don't worry. If you are a fan of the warmer weather, it is on the way after the next 2 or 3 days. Devin said, no energy, playing like they're at the beginning of SEC play. Let's hope they're rested and refreshed for regionals. So that's one way to look at this, right? So you're out of the running for an SEC tournament championship. You are now out of the running for a top 8 because the reason you want to be a top 8 number 1 seed, meaning that I think that made sense to you all, is in super regionals. If you carry on through, you would automatically still be able to host the super regionals. Auburn will be out of contention for that, but still should, by most conventions, host the regional. So now you have over a week, which can be a good or a bad thing. Sometimes staying in a routine is good. Sometimes the extra rest can help. Getting Herbert Holtz maybe back would be especially helpful. So over a week. The next time the Tigers will play will be a Friday evening, either in Auburn if they host or somewhere else. So they will get to kind of rest up probably for a few days and then get into their regular practice routine. And hopefully everybody that maybe has any bumps or bruises or tweaks or anything like that will be ready to go for regional play. Because I think this is a team that a lot of people counted out at one point in SEC play. And here they were as the number 5 overall seed in SEC tournament competition and are in the running for a hosting site today. I will give Angela Crotchfeld, our resident, I guess I call her mom of a player who's been on the show a lot. I don't know if she's watching today, but she called and predicted for a Cole McMurray bomb today, and she nearly predicted it, because if Cole McMurray comes up there and doesn't pop out and launches one deep, he ties the game up, and boy, what a prediction that would have been. It would have been absolutely incredible to see that go down that way. Yeah, so that's I guess that's the general thoughts of the game. Where we now shift our mind to mainly is the regional type of discussions. Who's going to be in the regional? Will we host? Things like that. And we'll be discussing a lot of that next week. We'll probably do a live stream that evening. It won't be at this point. I don't know that it'll be right when it's announced, but that evening we'll probably do like a assessment of the overall bracket at that point. Get your last minute comments and questions about this game in. You keep saying Cole, it's Cooper. Did I say Cole McMurray? Cooper McMurray. See, that's the thing. I'm still tired from last night, so I'm still messing all these things up. Cooper McMurray. Sorry. That's why she said Coop Nuke last night too. So now that's all starting to come back to me. It wasn't that long ago, but I'm super tired. All right. Comments and questions about the game or about what's going to happen going forward. Post them right now there in the chat. And I want to hit some of those as we go out. But as a reminder, we are done with our SEC tournament post-game streams, but we will do one next week after the next baseball game. But our next scheduled live stream is the Auburn Experience podcast live recording, episode 37. It'll be 9 o'clock this Sunday evening. Do not miss it. Go ahead and set your calendars. In fact, if you'll stay to the end of the stream, you will be taken directly over to a Watch Next feed, and you can hit the like button. You can hit the notify me bell so you can get a reminder. It is a huge help. I know it seems like a very simple, silly thing to do, but a lot of you that do that help us continue to grow our audience. If you want to be a subscriber, please do so. When we hit 4,000, which we're not far away from, we will be giving away a football prize package. Details are listed in the description link. You can be a channel member. You could be a Booster Club member. Both of those will get you $1 per month in the door. Other things that you can do in the description down there to help keep the lights on here at E2C Network. But we just appreciate you being here and hanging out with us and spending some time being part of our little family in the Auburn family. Great question. When are regionals announced? Now, I just did a really quick look at that right before the game ended, so I was a little rushed. You'd think I'd be prepared, right? If I saw it correctly, it will be announced at noon. They'll do the selection show. It's usually a big show thing. Kind of like football and basketball for March Madness and things like that. I think that's at noon Eastern time on Monday, not Sunday, I think, because some of these tournaments will go a little bit longer. They don't want to have to do that show later. To me, it feels like, for the most part, they all get done on time, so you could do it Sunday evening. But Monday, the 29th, is when we will have a selection show, and we will know our regional at some time after the noon start time of that selection show. So you have to sit around and wait for about 4 days, but I'm sure the boys themselves will also be eagerly awaiting what is next for them in postseason play. Hope you guys will show up for them next week if they do get to host, because they're going to need it. And a good opportunity for this pitching staff to come back out after a nice reset and show that this reversion of sorts back to maybe earlier play in the SEC competition was just a fluke, and they can rekindle that magic they had over the last few SEC series. And hopefully also, let's not just put this all on the pitchers too. The bats got to get going a little bit better too. The Missouri game was about what you'd expect from them, but with only 4 runs in the last 2 games, I believe it was 4. I was 4-6 last night, I think. You need a little bit more help for our pitchers, especially against some of these more potent offenses that we're probably going to run into in tournament play out there. So I think that's going to do it for a post-game show with Auburn versus Alabama. Enjoy it, Bama fans. You're probably going to get run over by someone else. So we will watch earnestly for that. But congratulations to you all for winning this game. And we'll look forward to what's next in the future for Auburn baseball, Butch Thompson and the boys. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, even on a not-so-fun live stream after a loss. Excited for the future, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.